The story will focus on a married couple, Jamie and Maya, two lovebirds who live in a simple apartment who have just received happy news when Maya is found to be positively pregnant. So to celebrate, Jamie took the initiative to buy Campage at a shop in front of his apartment building.
I love you.
Excuse me, mate.
As he was about to enter, Jamie was stopped by three delinquents who lit cigarettes at him. But Jamie tried to ignore them and immediately bought the Campage in question. When Jamie was going home, the three delinquents were still bothering him and even threw rubbish at him. So Jamie finally fought back by just letting the words out of his mouth, which actually made the three delinquents even more annoyed.
My girlfriend's pregnant, so go f yourself, okay?
Don't come right.
And yes, there was an unpleasant incident when this delinquent dared to enter the room and beat Jamie and even hurt Maya, who was pregnant. Here, we will be shown that Jamie is a typical man who is weak, has no guts, is a coward, and is too afraid. The one who fought back was Maya, who was pregnant, using a kitchen knife.
Get away from me!
Shame that.
Turning to another place, we see an old woman dying from a heart attack, where this old woman is Maya's aunt, who has a house in the village. Because they had no children, the house and land were inherited by Maya, so they both decided to move to the countryside and start a new life in this aunt's house.
Your Aunt Mavis just died, remember?
I know.
When they arrived at their aunt's house, Maya and Jamie were immediately greeted by their aunt's nurse, who was with her almost every day. He warned the two of them not to enter the gate or boundary wall leading into the forest. The reason is because the late aunt used to have a daughter, but suddenly disappeared somewhere. From the myth circulating that the aunt's daughter was taken by a dwarf creature usually nicknamed Leprechaun, or a male fairy creature that usually inhabits mainland Ireland. Well, the aunt's fault at that time was that she forgot to offer rum meat, so these dwarf creatures kidnapped the aunt's daughter instead.
Some call them the Far Darren, or the Red Caps.
This is our house. We live here.
Oh yeah, that.
Because the condition of this house needed to be repaired, the two of them decided to go to the nearest small town to hire a builder known as the Whelan family. After they were done with that, Jamie and Maya went to the only bar in the small town.
Hey, whoa, check it out, look.
Hey.
The two of them turned out to be very welcomed by the aunt's former nurse, along with other residents. There was an old man who was very drunk who warned Jamie and Maya to be wary of the Whelan family members who were going to repair their house. Because as far as we know, the grandfather of the Whelan family is known to often get into trouble.
Is there a problem?
Don't take any notice of
Home! Go home and sober up, you old fool!
Manny, come back here now! You silly dog, you!
After the grandfather was kicked out, because he seemed to be scaring the two of them, the aunt's former nurse asked Maya for permission to enter her yard. Every day before sunset, because he had promised his late aunt to always make an offering of rum meat to be placed in front of the boundary wall. But because Maya wants to live quietly and peacefully without having to be afraid of superstitious things, she strictly forbids the nurse from entering her property and leaves her and Jamie in peace.
Be scared in my own house. Not anymore, not again.
Good luck to you both now.
Thank you.
Baby clothes like this, a whole... Everyone's so nice here.
Yeah, they are.
The next morning, when they just woke up, they were both shocked by the appearance of the Whelan family who just entered the house without permission, and reasoned that they wanted to immediately repair this house without disturbing their sleep, because it would be unpleasant to have to strictly forbid and expel them. Jamie and Maya let the Whelan family roam around their house.
Help your sister with that, will you, before she drops it?
Is it 3 sugars, Mr. Whelan?
Yes, please.
While Jamie and Maya go shopping at the supermarket, let me introduce you to the 4 members of the Whelan family. First, there was the father. Second, there was the eldest who had a chubby face and even managed to urinate in the virtual room toilet without flushing. Thirdly, there is the younger brother who is stocky. And finally, there is the youngest who is as thin as the older brother. Back to Jamie and Maya, who went to the aunt's grave, where there happened to be a priest who was praying. Maya also asked about the story of the disappearance of the aunt's daughter. According to her, what the nurse said was the reality that there was a dwarf creature in the forest behind their house.
She was cremated.
No, the body was never found.
When they were going home, the 2 of them saw the nurse along with other residents in the middle of the field trying to find the whereabouts of the grandfather who was drunk yesterday. It turns out that grandfather hasn't come home since leaving the bar yesterday. Arriving at Maya's house, she immediately went inside while Jamie decided to chase away her older brother and youngest who were smoking in front of the door. Even though Jamie is an unpleasant man and has no guts, he tries to admonish them not to sit in front of the door and not to smoke in this house. However, with their arrogant style, the 2 of them actually acted up even more by deliberately smoking right in front of Jamie.
It's like being in the presence of Michael Collins himself.
For Maya, she was really upset when she saw the dirt still in the toilet hole, so she and Jamie immediately told their father about it. The father also wanted to understand and promised to warn his children not to do something like that again.
I'll have a word.
Thank you.
Well, see you bright and early.
The fact that they both always give in to situations and other people makes Jemmy annoyed because he doesn't have enough courage to fight back. So he decided to hit the Samsack in the hope that his mental guts and brutal spirit could emerge a little so that he wouldn't continue to be bullied by other people again. Before the sunset, Maya did what the nurse ordered, namely placing raw meat in front of the parapet. Maya was really shocked when the raw meat completely disappeared in a matter of seconds. The next morning, Jamie was again annoyed by the actions of his stocky younger brother when he accidentally broke the window. Because the older brother and the youngest laughed at this, Jamie, who was annoyed, argued with the older brother, with Maya being the mediator.
You break my things, you take my stuff, you...
Who's the daddy now?
I'm not talking to you.
What did I do?
Not long after, the father appeared who came and immediately beat the younger brother to show Jamie and Maya that he was consistent with his words to educate, and punish his children when they do wrong. Because the father was too excessive, it actually made Maya unable to bear to look at him.
Step away.
When Maya was alone in the yard, she heard the sound of dogs in the forest. He remembered that according to the nurse, his aunt once had a dog, but it suddenly disappeared when the aunt had a heart attack. So Maya, who was curious, decided to follow the dog, hoping to bring him back into the house.
Honey, come on.
And yes, there's a small hut with a hole leading to the basement of who knows whose place it is. But when Maya came back, she saw her little sister sitting alone. Maya became sympathetic when she saw the bruises on her body due to being often beaten by her father, who turned out to be angry. When Maya tried to calm him down, his sister suddenly grabbed Maya and tried to kiss her, but...
They all hate me. I'm not like them.
No. Help! Oh, please.
I don't know what happened, so Maya managed to get away from her sister with a face that was scared of something that was definitely not because of her sister, but something else. Maya immediately asked Jamie to go into the forest and show him the place where he was almost raped by his sister this afternoon.
Tracks here and then. Ha! There, look at this, explain that.
Maya admitted that she had seen a dwarf creature that appeared just as her younger sister was about to abuse her. However, Jamie didn't believe that at all and chose to go to the bar to calm down there. While reading a book about martial arts, Jamie, who was relaxing, was visited by his eldest and youngest who were looking for his younger brother who had not come home. Jamie was also warned not to mess with the Whelan family if he didn't want anything to happen to his wife.
Are you all right?
I'm fine.
I am so sorry.
Until night fell, Jamie never came home. Maya, who was alone, became even more frightened when she remembered what happened this afternoon. It turned out that this dwarf creature really existed and was real when he came to bring a bag containing his brother's decapitated head. This was enough to make Maya even more afraid.
Mama wicked babies.
Not long after, Jamie returned home, half drunk, and was very surprised when he saw his sister's severed head in his pocket. Right at the same time, the Whelan family appeared, who came to ask where the little brother was, so Maya immediately went upstairs to throw away the little brother's head.
Where's my boy? Look, Daddy. Comb, I have.
Because Jamie didn't want to open the door, the father told the eldest to climb onto the roof and enter through a hole in the roof where Maya herself was finally discovered after her sister startled her and managed to find out what was in the bag.
Where is the good lady, Mrs. Jamie, huh?
When it comes to my family.
What? You're probably thinking of some...
Meanwhile, Maya decided to go into the forest. The father and children started to rush into the house. Jamie, who was weak, had to face the eldest, who was holding a knife in his hand. There, Jamie was forced to open his voice about who had killed his younger brother, because he was well aware that Jamie was too cowardly to kill someone. When the eldest couldn't stand wanting to kill Jamie suddenly.
What I want to know.
That stupid bitch is here.
Do you know that?
The youngest himself was seen still doing damage downstairs, and because there were no more items that could be damaged, he left the house where there was already virtual space along with the creatures. It turns out that he went into the forest to ask this creature for help to help him, and Jamie escaped from the Whelan family. The eldest was again visited by dwarf creatures just as he was leaving the house. He managed to kill one of them. But because he didn't want to deal with creatures like this anymore, he decided to go home right now, but... Yes, after all the children are dead, now all that is left is the father. Jamie, who was tired of being oppressed and it was time to be a hero, invited his father to fight with his bare hands. But the father actually shot him in the shoulder.
It's always been you and me versus the rest of them.
Your baby, though.
When Maya was about to shoot, a dog appeared which distracted the father so that Maya managed to grab the rifle and...
How close do I need to get?
Just when this nightmare was over and the bodies of the Whelan family were taken to the headquarters of the virtual dwarf creatures finally gave birth independently without the help of a Paraji or midwife. When the sun rose, Jamie immediately went to the supermarket to buy some of the necessities he needed.
Ah, how are you? I'm all right, I'm good.
Whatever we tell them, they're gonna make up their own stories, aren't they?
And again, something unexpected happened when the baby suddenly disappeared from his sight. I'm sure that this is the work of the virtual dwarf creatures and went straight into the forest, and decided to go down into the nutmeg base of this dwarf creature. And how shocked Maya was when she saw an old woman who turned out to be the aunt's daughter who was said to have disappeared when she was little. She is considered the queen or mother of these dwarf creatures. Because they all refused to return the baby, Maya was determined to approach the old woman and kill her right in front of them all. And yes, because the old woman is dead, these dwarf creatures now worship Maya as their new queen. Jamie had just returned home and found the baby already in his place with Maya in the yard. I don't know what happened to Maya, with Maya's dark red color being covered in blood as a symbol of her coronation as the new queen of the dwarf creatures. Maya is forced to do this as a sacrifice for the lives of her husband and baby so that they can both live normally without being disturbed by these dwarf creatures.